There's over 20 builders in Sunterra. How in the world are you supposed to pick the right one? Well, in this video, I'm gonna go over the best and the worst builders. Howdy friend, my name is Paul Holub with Traditions Realty, and let's get into the different builders in Sunterra. Now I'm ranking these based on 4 different tiers. The bottom tier, number 4 and 3, and then the top half tier is 2 and 1. So the top tier would be number 1. All right, let's start off with the bottom tier home builders. These are the 4th tier home builders. And so just know that they still need to pass the same inspection process, still need to go do the same building codes. They just tend to build with lesser quality products and, not quite as great of a build experience. So just know that they can still build a good home. It's just in general, they're not quite as good as some of these other home builders. And always do your due diligence by getting a home inspector. Even on a new home, they have third-party inspectors taking care of the house and throughout the process. But it's better to have your own inspector doing your own due diligence, keeping the builder's feet to the fire that they're doing the best job possible. And I have some great home inspectors, particularly some that work with mostly 95% new homes. And so they know the codes inside and out. All right, so let's start off with the home builders. Starlight Homes and Adams Homes are national home builders. They're gonna build from the 300s to the 400s, and they're just cranking out these homes. And so you're just gonna have to be a little bit careful on their quality. Anglia Homes is a Houston-based home builder, 300s and 400s. And then Long Lake. Long Lake is building from the mid 300s to the mid 500s. So they're actually building in the 45-foot section, which is how wide the lots are from each other. And then also 60-foot section. So a little bit larger lot, they tend to build a larger home and get more expensive. So that's why their home prices are getting into the mid 500s. I do like some of their floor plans, but again, just kind of be careful with some of these tier 4 home builders. Okay, on to the 3rd tier. First off, we have KB Homes. KB Homes is going to be entry level 270 to the 400s. And they do put some really nice, nice finishes, a little bit more upgraded finishes. But again, sometimes the quality of the finishes are not super great, or the quality build's not quite as good. So a good builder, but just again, do your due diligence. And then 2, if you've had any experience buying home here in Sunterra or anywhere throughout Houston with these home builders, please put in the comments below. I'd love to hear your experience. Again, kind of keep it clean, keep it classy. Just love to hear your experience with them, positive or negative. Okay, next up is Castle Rock. It's a national home builder, and they're a decent home builder. Colina, and it's kind of like a low tier 3, upper tier 4. So it's kind of why they're here in tier 3, from the 280s to the 400s. All right, moving on to the tier 2 home builders. First off, we have Tri-Coast Homes. They don't have a ton of inventory in Sunterra currently, but I do like some of their finishes, especially on the 350 to 400 price range. Yeah, David's Homes building from the low 300s to the mid 400s. They're going to build a 9 and 10 foot ceiling home product. And just kind of one thing to kind of consider, and this may just be me, but I like homes with kind of the higher ceilings. One that just feels more open, kind of opens up the layout even more, lets more natural light in. And again, it's a little more expensive for the builder to do. So a lot of these homes at the entry level price range are going to be 8 and 9 foot ceilings. So it's just going to be a nicer feeling home with the higher ceilings, letting in more natural light. It's just going to feel more inviting. So when you're looking at homes, just kind of keep that in mind. Brightland Homes is next, and they were formerly Guillen Homes. They're going to build from the 290 to the 500 price range. And they also have an entry level and like a higher end 60 foot section. The Landmark's more entry level, and the Premier is more of the higher end section. And so many of these builders will have kind of that entry level and then more expensive homes. And so again, I'm lumping all of these together as quality of builder. They tend to build this, but it's not always the case. Some of these good top tier builders may build a not so great house, and some of these lesser tier builders will build a good house sometimes. So just kind of keep that in mind. Again, always do your due diligence. And next off is DR Horton. That's one, again, mega national builder. They build a ton of homes. Sometimes I've seen that DR Hortons are like, oh, this is a really nice house. And sometimes I've seen like, it's okay, And so it's kind of gonna be hit or miss depending on floor plan and finishes. Next up, we have History Maker, the Texas-based home builder from the 300s to the 400s. They'll build a good home. And I feel like they say they've been around for 75 years, but I just remember them coming in, just for me, like 8-10 years ago. And I'm starting to see the homes like I'm not a huge fan, but I feel like they've gotten better and better over time. So that's why I have them here in tier two. Lennar Homes, mega national home builder, low 280s. Sorry, 280s to about 500s. I don't say low 280s. 280s to about 500,000. And again, we'll build some good homes, but again, not all the houses are going to be top-notch, great floor plans. New Home Co. is a California-based home builder. I do like some of their finishes. I haven't worked with them yet, but they're building from 290 to about the mid 500s. And then Pulte Homes. Now, Pulte is a mega national home builder, and they build 300s to 500s in Sunterra. They're still building like the kind of little study niches. I had some clients, buy homes with them, and they tend to kind of use it, kind of just piles up space. And I think it's kind of a more outdated floor plan, just because most people prefer, an actual private study, because people working from home, they want to have a place where they can close off from the rest of the family and things going on. But it is kind of a good, like mix. Like, hey, if you can't get a study in there, at least you have a little office space, And so, anyway, Pulte's not my favorite builder, just because some of the finishes and designs not my favorite, which is kind of funny because I grew up in a Pulte home. All right, on to the tier one home builders. And so these are some of the better home builders that you'll find in Sunterra. Weston Homes is one of my favorites. They are building 480s, about 600. I tend to build a really good quality home. I like that almost all the 2 stories they have like a half spiral staircase, and it's around the rotunda with high kind of vaulted ceilings with trade ceilings. It's really beautiful. And so you'll see that in many of their 2-story floor plans, and they're building all the way up to the low 600s. Next up is Chesmar, and kind of like History Maker, I feel like they've gotten better over time. This is a Texas-based home builder, and they're building the 400s and 500s. Empire, it's a Houston-based home builder, and they're building the 400s and 500s. They will build a good home, so I do like that. Really attention to detail. And then Highland's one of my favorite builders of all time. They're a Texas-based home builder, and they're building 300s to 500s. I don't love all the Highland homes as far as the layouts and floor plans and everything, but as far as the exterior, they tend to have these beautiful gable roofs and nice, spend extra money on the exterior, so it really looks very nice and inviting, and the finishes tend to be nicer as well. Always, again, compare, but again, it's one of my favorites. And I also like Beezer Homes. They were first doing the spray foam insulation before that was like a thing. And so they've done that for many years and really kind of perfected it. Now there's some downsides to spray foam insulation, but it does definitely help out with your energy bills. Ashton Woods, a national home builder, they're building 300s to the 600s. They will build an absolutely beautiful house. So that's a lot of builders. So it gives you a better idea of kind of where they're ranking, but there's so much involved in picking the right builder and floor plan and negotiating incentives and lots and all the things involved in buying a new home, or even obviously your resale home in Sunterra, that it can be overwhelming. So if you'd like some more help and would like some help going more in detail into these different builders, please call or text me now. I'll be honored to help you buy your next home in Sunterra. We can dive in some of these builders more detail based on your price range and your specifics of what you're looking for in your new home. Okay, so now I do want to give you some tips. Not all the tips I give, but I do want to give you some really important tips that are going to help you pick out the right builder for you. So tip number 1 is to compare all the builders. Now this may sound simple, but what you want to do is figure out your price range and what you're looking for in your home. Basic starting spot for finding a great house. But let's say you're starting at 350 to 400 with a study. I need a 3-bedroom and a study, or a 4-bedroom and a study. Okay, that's going to limit you to different builders and price ranges. And so from there, you can go and look at the model home, look at some of those different floor plans that you like, and get a feel for the quality of finishes, the style, and how the floor plans feel. And you'll start to notice, like, hey, this one builder is building 8-foot ceilings and carpet everywhere, and this one's building 10-foot ceilings, and it's got a better quality tile throughout. And so it feels better and nicer. Okay, great. That's going to kind of narrow off one builder and really help you focus on that builder. And then from there, you can negotiate and figure out incentives and other amenities and add-ons. And so that starts the process here to really figure out, what builders do you like? Which one feels more quality to you within your budget? Tip number 2 is to decide if you're going to build a new home from the ground up, or if you're just going to buy an inventory home that's being built or is already built by the builder. And so this is important because if you're building a brand new house, you can pick out all the finishes, your location, the lot size, everything in between. And it's great to pick that all out. Go through the design center with many of these builders. And sometimes it's good, just like, hey, I like this floor plan. It's got nice finishes. I'm just gonna buy that one, and that makes life easier. And that's also gonna impact how you're able to negotiate with the home builder. Tip number 3 is to always get a home inspector to inspect the house. So if you're building from the ground up, there's 3 phases of inspections. And if you're buying an inventory home, there's tends just to be one inspection that's the final inspection. I'm always happy to help my clients with some great home inspection referrals. Tip number 4 is to make sure that you don't forget the extras. Many of these builders won't provide blinds or won't provide grass in the backyard or a sprinkler system or all these other things that, have to come with a home. So many times you can buy a brand new house and you're like, okay, now I need to fork over extra $1,500 for all these different things. So it's good to know what the builder is included in the home and then what's not, so that you can push to negotiate to fill those things that it's missing. So maybe you like one of these builders, but want to try a different community. Well, in these next 2 videos, you need to check them out to get a better idea of what other new communities are in Katy and Cypress.